Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews today. Let's take a walk and go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews. Look at this corked and caged bottle. That usually means it's high dollar. And not a huge bottle on top of that, but this is Troegs Brewing. This is their Troegs Barrel Aged Impending Descent. And it is a 12%er in the the bourbon barrel version, which is what this is. And these guys are out of Pennsylvania. I don't buy a lot of Troegs anymore. I did a bunch of their stuff, but I think they were bought out. Don't quote me on that, but I think they sold out. I may be mistaken on that, but I was thinking they did. This was sent to me by my brother Rico. Thanks a bunch, my brother. I do appreciate it. Can't wait for you to come back down and visit. And Rico writes, Troeg Barrel Aged Impending to Stout, 12% Imperial Stout, aged in bourbon barrels for 4 months. The label has a commercial description, type of yeast that was used, what was brewed with, and the vintage year and ABV. Brewed with demerara, sugar, vanilla, and cocoa. Picked up for around $14. So, it's not a cheap bottle to buy, but it's a barrel aged, but still a little on the pricey side, but you're going to pay that for something that's been bourbon barrel aged, guys. Especially something that's got a cork and cage on it. The only way it could be more expensive, somebody dipped it in wax. And a lot of times these cork and cage bottles, it's easy to get the cork out. Sometimes it's hard to get the cork out. Sometimes it's very tame. Sometimes it spews all over the place. Usually the Imperial Stouts do not spew. Some of the other ones have, in my opinion, in my previous experience, if you will. So I'm not expecting this one to spew all over the place. I hope that's the case. As far as information, I don't have the IBUs. We just have this at 12%. And it does say 2017 on the front label here. And that's probably all we're going to get. And everything else is written so small. Oak bourbon barrels, demerara sugar, vanilla, and cocoa. And then it has a little description here, and it looks like it's the same thing that Untapped has, so it's easier for me to read on the computer screen here for an Untapped, and it is a little windy, so let me read that, if you will. Bear with me. One day we got the urge to one-up our already colossal Imperial Stout, and we're glad we did. A year in bourbon barrels has smoothed the sharp edges of impending descent. It says here a year in bourbon barrels. Rico's telling me 4 months. Says here armfuls of chocolate, vanilla, and raw cane sugar make it a meal. A warm, velvety, intense meal. If you have the patience, you could tuck a few away in your cellar, but we think it's ready for your glass. So, this may be a good one to cellar. I'm not sure. We're getting ready to find out whether it's too boozy or not, or tasty now, or and being at 12%. I can't think of a reason why you could not sell this for a while. This is going to keep for a long, long, long time, guys. A couple of years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, even 20 years, 12% bourbon barrel. There's no reason you could not sell this beer for however long you chose to. or choose, however you want to call it. Final beer of the evening for me, guys. I'd like to finish up these big beers. That's all we need to talk about. We don't have the reviews, like I said. So we've read everything that we've got. Let's get the cork cage and cork off of this bad boy. And I'm a big fan of some of the Troegs beers, and I did them when I first started doing beer reviews, guys. I haven't bought a whole lot here lately. Let's see how hard this cork is to get out. Got it to move. It's twisting. Alright, here we go. Listen for the pop. Here it is. Poop, not a big pop. No. Got Troegs on the cork. No dating or any other different information on it. It says Troegs. And this is a little bit bigger than a 12 ounce. It looks like to me maybe a 500 milliliter. 12.7 fluid ounces is what it says on the label here. And it's a full bottle. It's all the way up to here. So, about an inch of headspace, and that's perfect. Alright, into the glass we go. And while I do this, I will tell you, the same as I told you yesterday's beer, food pairings, it says general chocolate dessert digestive. Glassware, a pint becker non-tumbler mug, snifter, I got my favorite tulip glass, and can be set up for a long period of time, guys. I don't know if we got any sediment in the bottom. We want to get that out of there. Alright, about a quarter finger of head on that pour. It does look pitch black coming out of the bottle. I don't see any light whatsoever. It is pitch black, guys. Nice looking beer. About a quarter finger of khaki colored head on it. Good looking beer. To the nose we go. Ooh, big time bourbon notes. Big time bourbon notes. This smells awesome. Rich roasted malt, maybe a hint of some black molasses. There's some oak woodiness there, maybe a hint of some vanilla. The bourbon is pretty overpowering though. Big time notes, and I like that. I like those big bourbon notes, as long as it's not real boozy. Smells boozy. But it's right out of the fridge, just uncorked it, and as it sits in the glass and as I sip on it, a lot of times that booziness goes away and more of the notes, maybe some dark fruit or some chocolate or licorice or some of those other notes will come out once it acclimates to the temperature. A lot of people don't even open these beers unless they're 55, 65 degrees room temperature or whatever. I always let these beers come up to room temperature, guys. It's got a wonderful bourbon notes, and I do like that. I don't drink bourbon anymore, so the only bourbon I get is from these bourbon barrel aged beers. And sometimes I can taste it, sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's overpowering, sometimes it's not. So this smells pretty damn tasty. Let's dive in. Final beer of the evening. Let's jump in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. Tasty. There's a lot of people probably going to find this a little too boozy fresh. If I'd have had this beer 8 years ago when I first started doing beer reviews, I may have found it a little too boozy, a little too hot. Now, with the amount of beers that I've reviewed and tasted, not so much. It all depends on where your palate is and what you think of the beer. And I tell you this all the time, guys. What I might find delicious, absolutely outstanding, you may hate. And vice versa. You may like something that I do not. Beer tastes are very subjective. It all depends on what you like and where your palate is and what you enjoy. So don't listen to anybody, including me. If you like something that I don't like, it doesn't mean that you're probably not going to like it. You may love it. So take this with a grain of salt. Beer reviewers are not almighty whatever. It's just my opinion. So don't think that anybody can tell you what you're going to like. You may, like I said, you may like something that I do not. And I may like something that you do not. So it's all subjective. Smells wonderful. And now that it's setting in the glass, I'm getting a little more notes in it. A little bit of coconut coming out now. So that's another reason, like I say, I mean, always if you drink this style of beer, whatever temperature you'd like to start out with, or what do you open it up at, let it come up to room temperature before you finish drinking it. Because some of those notes don't open up until it gets up to 65, 70 degrees. So, also smelling, it's not as boozy now as it was 2 minutes ago. Wow, that's getting better all the time, guys. It's getting tastier every time I take a sip of it. Well, let's right out of the fridge. Let's let this thing warm up. And might have to step out on the deck, fire up my stogie, and sip on this and let it come up to room temperature. And see what we end up with here, guys. This is pretty impressive right now. Alright, guys, I'm back at this little left here. Been sipping on it for a while. Very nice bourbon notes on this. Now it's warmed up a little bit. The bourbon is not overpowering anything. It is there. It is strong, but it's not overpowering. That's where I want to leave that. If you don't like bourbon, you're not going to like this beer. Roasted malt, hints of some licorice, maybe some tobacco, black molasses, maybe even a slight hint of some dark fruit in there, but the bourbon notes are a little strong to be getting that out. Maybe if I let it sit till it come up to 75, 80 degrees, I might get a little bit more of the dark fruit. I would say it's probably about 65 degrees right now. I think it's a well-made beer. I think it's an excellent beer, guys. I really do. A very tasty beer. And it was, as far as I'm concerned, in my humble opinion, I think it's got just the right amount of bourbon characteristics to not be overpowering. And when it was cold, I thought the bourbon was a little heavy, but now, either coming up to room temperature or my palate accustomed to drinking it over the last 35, 45 minutes. Seems to be very nice. Final choke. Wow. Very delicious beer, guys. Very, very tasty beer. A great final beer of the evening. A nice beer to have as a dessert beer. After your dinner, this could be your dessert. Not big chocolate notes to me, but nice bourbon, roasted malt, molasses, slight hint of some vanilla coconut. Very tasty, guys. Very, very tasty. As far as I'm concerned, this is definitely an A beer. I'm going to give this an A. I'm going to give this a 98, guys. It's pretty damn tasty. If you say, oh my God, you're crazy, that's a 10 beer, I would not argue with that. I would not argue with that whatsoever. It is pretty damn tasty. But I've had a little bit tastier beers with a little bit more notes with the coconut and the vanilla and all that. But like I said earlier, beer tastes are very subjective. Depends on where your palate is and what you like and what you'd like to taste in your beer. To me, it's a 98. That's where I'm going to leave it. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 4.13. That's in their A- range. I think it's a better beer than that. I really do. And over to Untapped. Untapped has it at 4.24. That's definitely in their A range, guys. And I agree with that. That's where I'm going to put it. It's in the A range, but it's in the upper A range. It's got the vintage of 2017. I don't know if it was done in January. June, July, December. I don't know when in 2017 it was done, but it's very tasty. It's a great beer. And as far as I'm concerned, I would buy this beer. And I haven't seen it. These kind of beers are only available at craft beer stores. Martin may have this beer out there at the barrel chest, but it's not available at any kind of Kroger's around here anyway that I've seen. Anytime you see a corked and caged bottle of beer, the Kroger's that we shop at down here, my wife actually works there, they don't stock this kind of beer. They don't have room to, or they choose not to. The regular shitty beers takes up most of the shelf space. The Budweisers, the Millers, the Coors, because that's what all the yuppies are drinking, and they want to buy 24 of them for $13. They're drinking it to get drunk. They're not drinking it for the taste. So anyway, it's a long story. Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt for it. Got the tattoo. All that. If you're into craft beers, you would probably have to pick this up at a craft beer store. So, with that being said, if you've had this one from Troegs Independent Brewing, what they're calling independent, like I said, I'm not sure whether they were bought out or have somebody that's lending them money. I'm not sure about that, guys. I did not research it before I said that, so I may be spitting out misinformation here, but I thought they had been. And if they're not, I apologize to the guys at Troegs. This is a very tasty beer, very balanced beer, a nice bourbon taste, an excellent beer. An excellent beer. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So Rico, thanks again, my brother. I do appreciate it. This is an awesome beer. Very tasty. So guys, if you've had this one, the Bourbon Barrel Aged Impending Descent. This is a 2017 edition. Let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.